Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to take a look at a moment in UFC history where one of the greatest fighters of all time, Jon Jones, completely lost his cool. From being a dominant force in the octagon to being involved in several controversies outside of it, Jon Jones has always been a polarizing figure in the world of MMA. But on some of these occasions we will be discussing today, he took things to a whole new level, and it was a moment that left everyone talking. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and let's relive the moment when Jon Jones completely lost his cool. As athletes attain success in sports, they become the subject of greater public attention and scrutiny. This means that every action they take is under observation by many. Jon Jones achieved substantial success early in his MMA career and became the youngest UFC champion when he won the light heavyweight title by defeating Shogun Rua at UFC 128 in 2011. Although Jones is known for his professionalism, he has also had his share of mistakes and controversies, like anyone else. Some of the most notable controversial moments in Jones's career include his various off-field incidents and public spats with fellow fighters. Despite these setbacks, he remains one of the most dominant figures in the UFC and one of the greatest light heavyweights of all time. Despite the initial disappointment, Jones bounced back from this loss and went on to win his next 8 fights, eventually becoming the youngest UFC champion in history at just 23 years old. He dominated the light heavyweight division and won several title defenses against top-ranked opponents. However, Jones's controversial moment at Tough 10 finale marked the beginning of his tumultuous career. Throughout the years, Jones has been involved in multiple scandals, including failed drug tests, hit-and-run accidents, and heated Twitter exchanges with other fighters. These incidents have led to suspensions and stripping of his titles, damaging his reputation and causing frustration among fans and critics alike. Despite these setbacks, Jones has continued to fight and compete at the highest level. He is widely considered one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time and continues to dominate the light heavyweight division. However, his legacy will forever be marked by the controversies that have plagued his career, reminding us that even the greatest fighters are not immune to missteps and mistakes. In history, the UFC had never before canceled a card. However, on August 23rd, that changed. Jones was set to fight Dan Henderson for the light heavyweight title at UFC 151 on September 1st. Unfortunately, Henderson was forced to withdraw from the fight due to a torn MCL sustained in training. The UFC tried to find a replacement, ultimately settling on former 2-time middleweight contender Chael Sonnen. Despite the UFC's efforts, Jones refused the fight, stating that he and his team felt that there wasn't enough time to prepare for Sonnen. Jones faced criticism from all fronts, with fans, fellow fighters, and even Dana White taking jabs at him. In just one moment, he went from one of the most beloved fighters to one of the most hated. However, Jones and Sonnen have since become coaches on the current season of The Ultimate Fighter and are scheduled to face off at UFC 159 in April. Daniel Cormier is a highly revered figure in the MMA world and is widely loved by fans for his lighthearted personality and his ability to not take rivalries too seriously. During a UFC 178 promotion event, things took a turn for the worse when Jones pressed his forehead against Cormier's, leading to a scuffle. Cormier shoved Jones by the throat, and Jones retaliated with a punch. The two had to be separated by their trainers, and the incident was not well received by anyone involved. The Nevada State Athletic Commission even requested a copy of the incident's footage. Jones was fined $50,000 and required to complete 40 hours of community service after a hearing revealed his involvement in an unnecessary altercation. He initially claimed to have suffered financial losses, including losing a 6-figure endorsement deal with Nike, but later admitted to lying about the deal. The UFC's announcement of a rematch between Jones and Gustafsson at UFC 232 in Las Vegas sparked excitement among fans globally, as they eagerly awaited to see if Gustafsson could repeat his previous success. The highly anticipated bout also marked Jones's return from suspension due to a failed drug test at UFC 214, with the vacant UFC light heavyweight title at stake. The match provided Jones with an opportunity to bounce back and put the controversies surrounding his career to rest. The UFC faced setbacks with Jon Jones's fights yet again. Just before the event, Jones tested positive for trace amounts of a banned substance, causing the Nevada State Athletic Commission to cancel the fight's sanction. To save the PPV event, the UFC moved the entire card to California on short notice, just 6 days before the event. despite the UFC's assertion of Jones's innocence, claiming the test showed only residual amounts of the banned substance, it did little to ease the inconvenience for the thousands of fans who had to quickly change their travel and accommodation plans. Jones, like many UFC fighters, is known for his use of social media to respond to trolls, fans, and fellow fighters. In UFC 214, he faced criticism for using homophobic slurs toward a Swedish fan who was urging him to have a rematch with Gustafsson. However, he swiftly took to Twitter the next day to claim that his accounts had been hacked, a common explanation at the time. Jones's use of social media for humorous purposes was not limited to this instance. He also trolled fans who criticized his performance against Teixeira at UFC 172 by posting, and then deleting, an Instagram video making fun of the criticism he received for committing fouls during fights. However, his recent social media behavior has taken a more ominous tone. When Tony Ferguson jokingly criticized Jones on Twitter, Jones responded harshly. "Wait, when did this beef start? I thought we were cool. You over there feeling suicidal, Tony?" Following Jones's tweet, some in the MMA community connected it to the reported mental health struggles of Tony Ferguson. After fans pointed this out to Jones, he responded with another tweet, which he later deleted. "Yeah, bro, I just show up and kick a few asses a few times a year. Don't really sit around and read other fighters' articles." Jones is a unique and special fighter whose dominant style has earned him 2 wins over Daniel Cormier. He is unmatched in the octagon, but his record outside of it raises questions about his legacy. Despite being the ideal fighter for the UFC with his athletic ability and role model image, controversy surrounded Jones in 2012 when he was arrested for a DUI after crashing his Bentley into a pole in Binghamton, New York. Unfortunately, John's issues with cars continued, and he was involved in a hit-and-run accident in 2015, where he left a pregnant woman with a broken arm after grabbing money from his rental car and fleeing the scene. As a result, he was stripped of his light heavyweight championship title. Additionally, he has faced controversies due to failed drug tests and positive results for banned substances. However, the Nevada State Athletic Commission determined there is no evidence to prove that he has an unfair advantage in UFC 235. Given his success in the UFC and his struggles outside of it, the legacy of Jon Jones is a contentious topic. Despite this, many consider him to be one of the greatest fighters of all time. Jon Jones is a legendary fighter in the light heavyweight division and holds the record for being the youngest champion ever in the division. He has a flawless record in championship fights, with his only defeat coming from a disqualification due to what many believe was a controversial referee decision. Despite facing many challenges in his career, it is not uncommon for someone in his position to make mistakes in their youth when they are suddenly thrust into the spotlight. Regarding the allegations of using banned substances, the speaker of the statement personally believes that these substances have not had any effect on Jon's performance. They believe that his exceptional talent in the octagon is a gift from God and has not been influenced by any substances. Despite all the controversies and issues that Jon has been involved in, they do not detract from the fact that he is a one-of-a-kind athlete who possesses unique skills and abilities. Despite his remarkable achievements and immense talent, Jon Jones is not immune to losing his composure at times. Whether it's due to the intense pressure of competition, personal struggles, or just a momentary lapse of judgment, even the greatest athletes can sometimes let their emotions get the better of them. These incidents do not define Jon's entire career, and he has shown time and time again that he is a fierce competitor and one of the best fighters. Jon Jones remains a true force to be reckoned with. And that's it for today's video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.